Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Y'all heard the music. You know what time it is? It is time for Community Coffee with the Advocates for Action and our partner, La Difference, Radio La Difference. I'm going to get it right, Mr. Man. Right. We are here every Saturday, and I am excited. I'm excited every Saturday, but I'm really excited this Saturday. We have a great topic, but in addition to that, y'all heard the music. You love it. Everybody tells me this theme song is amazing. Well, guess what? We got the artist right here with us. December Dortch is here with us. Woo! Thank you. We love our theme song. We have gotten so much positive feedback. Maybe she'll give us some live, y'all. I don't know. But I'm just putting it out there. She's here as a guest this morning with our advocate, Daphne. You know, we have our advocate panel is full of experts. Everybody brings something great to the table. And this morning, Ms. Daphne Dortch is talking about insurance and those uncomfortable conversations that a lot of families just don't have. You know, we've all lost loved ones and people we know, and GoFundMe's that we've donated to for people who don't have insurance. And, you know, they're tough conversations, they're uncomfortable conversations, but it's a conversation in our community that is so needed. We have to get our houses in order. I think that's what I named the show this week. We got to get our houses in order. So I'm going to hand it over to Miss Daphne, and we are sitting back. We're ready to learn, Daphne.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm an advocate for action. I'm also a licensed insurance producer. And we're going to talk about life insurance. So what is life insurance? What life insurance is, it is a policy that you have with an insurance company. With this policy, you pay a premium payment, and when the insured passes, you receive a face amount or a death benefit amount. Who should consider getting life insurance? If you have a spouse, if you have children, if you have anyone that depends on you financially, life insurance is the best way to ensure that in the event of your untimely death, that they're covered financially. Life insurance can be used to protect someone financially from paying a debt. It can be used for funeral expenses. It can be used to pay off educational expenses. So to get a policy, what you have to do is fill out an application. When you're filling out an application, you want to be as honest as possible. The reason why is there is an MIB. No, it doesn't stand for Men in Black. It stands for Medical Insurance Bureau. And during the underwriting policy, they can look at your credit report. They can see if you've been to jail or not. They can pull your medical history. There's a lot of different things that they can pull from this report. So when you fill out your application, you want to be as honest as possible. If they find something in your application, depending on the amount that you are wanting to get, and also depending on the amount you're wanting to get, they may do a medical exam on you. It's called a paramedical exam. During the paramedical exam, they will look at things like they'll ask you about your medical history. They'll take blood and urine. They'll also do blood work on you just to see if you're fit for the policy. Let's get into, I want to talk about two different insurances. So one is term and the other one is whole life. So term insurance, they sometimes call it temporary insurance. It can last for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You don't have any death benefit with the term insurance. What the term insurance does is sometimes people get it because they have an interest or insurable interest that they believe will last for a certain duration of time. So let's say, for example, let's talk about insurable interests. So let's say, for example, you want to get a mortgage. You and your spouse, you want to get a mortgage. So the mortgage is $2,000 and the term is going to be for, let's say a 30-year term. So you pay $1,000, your spouse is paying $1,000. So what happens if within that 30-year term, your spouse passes? What will you do then? Maybe you have enough money to continue to pay the mortgage on your own. Maybe you don't. It's one thing to lose a spouse, that's very tough, but who wants to also be forced to move out their home at the same time? So because of this reason, they use life insurance for mortgage protection. So they'll take out a policy. Each spouse will take out a policy on each other, and they will name the other person the beneficiary. So they're able to take that money upon the other one's death, and they'll be able to pay for the home. Another term is 20-year term. Some people get 20-year term because they have children, and they want to make sure they can take care of their children through college, through grad school, normally up to the age of 25. So let's say present day you have a 5-year-old child. You want to make sure that child is taken care of to the age of 25. So what you would do is, to calculate how much insurance you would need, what you would do is take your income and times it by 20. That's enough for your youngest child, for your child to last to age 25. And that's the amount that you want to get. Now, that's not a perfect figure, because it doesn't take into case like how money goes up in time, but it is like a baseline. So another thing about term insurance, when you're done paying the term insurance, with most term insurances, that's it, it's over with. You don't get your money back. However, there are some term insurances that have a term rider, and it's called term with return of policy. These type of policies, they do cost more money, but at the term, when it's over, if you choose 10, 20, 30, whatever term you choose, you get all of your money back. You don't get the death benefit back, but you do get all of your money back. When you think about term insurance, you want to think about like car insurance. Let's say you have a Geico. So you pay your car insurance. When you're done paying it for the year, they don't give you your premiums back. So you're paying for a sense of just being comfortable at that time, that if something does happen, that you're covered. So now let's go into whole insurance. So whole insurance is considered the Mercedes-Benz when it comes to insurance. It has a cash value, and it also covers you for your entire life. Most of the insurance policies for whole insurance, they don't expire to age 121. So pretty much it lasts the whole life. With those insurances, it has a cash value. What this cash value is every month you're paying your premium, or maybe you pay it quarterly or yearly, but every month you pay your premium. That premium goes into a cash value, and that cash value, it grows and it grows and it grows. With that cash value, you can use it to take out loans, loans against the policy. You can use it to take it out for whatever you want to do. You can take it out for loans for whatever you want to do. And also, you can also use it as collateral to get a loan with a bank, to use it to even possibly start a business or grow a business. You can also use that cash value. Let's say you're having a down month and you don't have a lot of money. You can use that cash value to actually pay the premium into your own policy. So it's very useful. So with that, as stated, it's like the Mercedes-Benz of insurance. Now, some people have health issues. So there's another insurance, it's called guaranteed issue. With this, and actually I work with the company, we approve people all the time from 0 to 85. If you have cancer, AIDS, no matter what your condition is, you'll be approved for a policy. The things about these policies, they do have a cash value. Because of your health, you're looking at probably getting up to $25,000. It could even be less than that. Also with these policies, you want to watch out for them, because with these policies, because you do have, deteriorating health, bad health, sometimes they make you wait a year or 3 years. So let me give you an example. So say, for example, you get a policy and you die within that first year. You won't get a death benefit, but what you will get is all your premiums back. Some insurance companies, they'll make you wait 1 year. Some will make you wait 3 years. It depends on your policy and the insurance company you go with. So you do want to be very mindful of policies like that. So now at this time, what I like to do is turn it over to my guest, Michelle, and she's just going to talk about her experience that she had losing a loved one. Michelle.
Hi, thank you, Daphne, for having me. Just quickly, I just recently experienced the death of a family member, untimely. He was sick, and the family really didn't let our entire family know what was going on. So unbeknownst to us, he had some pre-existing conditions that were never sought after or paid much attention to medically. So anyway, he ended up passing, and the patriarch of our family ended up calling the entire family together. And upon reading the invite to the conference call, it kind of dawned on me. I thought, I kind of have an idea what this is about, but I'm going to go on because it's family, and that's what family does. We pull together. So getting on the call, and it turns out that was the case. My beloved cousin had no life insurance, and what he was limited to was pretty much nothing in terms of his remains and how he could be put away. And it was just so heartbreaking just to hear that, what he was limited to. And so in that time of about 20 minutes, it was about 15 of us on that call, and we raised the money. We were able to raise all the money that was needed. It was about $5,000 that was needed, and that was just the minimal of a cremation. And maybe, well, due to COVID, they were really limited on how, you could gather. So it was about $5,000. But as I sat there and the family members were just, yelling out how much they could contribute to this, it just dawned on me, we raised $5,000 in 20 minutes. I was saddened by that because I was thinking, wow, that could have been a business investment for a family member, a startup business. But we're burying somebody who, and it was needed, but that it just made me realize how important it is to be covered, and that families are aware of what their families have, in the event that something like this should happen. So, but, thankfully we were able to come together and get it together. But I also thought about the fact that, if we weren't able to come together like that, I mean, it's COVID, people are laid off, the income has subsided in some cases. What would have happened? What would have happened had we not come up with the finances for this? So, but yeah, that made me realize how important, it further made me realize how important it is for families just to make sure those things are intact, especially if we know family members who are suffering with an ailment and have been for a while, just making sure that those little things are covered, because it's something small, but in the end, it can be catastrophic. It really can. So
thank you for sharing that with us. And unfortunately, it's a story we all know. These conversations are hard with families and uncomfortable, but they are so necessary. We want to start leaving generational wealth, not generational debt. And just like you said, that $5,000 could have grown into $500,000. So we just want to thank you, Daphne, for coming on today and talking about this, because this is a needed conversation. We have to start sharing resources, and when you know better, you do better. So we are in the know today. And I want to thank our Facebook friends for watching. We got Pastor Neighbors watching us. Hey, Pastor, thank you for watching this morning. Gilo's with us. Coach Jackson's with us. Ms. Wedlow, thank everybody for watching. Please share this video. This is important information. So, Ms. Betty, I know you had a question this morning.
Yes, so this is a great conversation. I think oftentimes we we have the conversation, but we don't take any action steps. So Daphne or anyone on the panel, what do you suggest are the first steps that we need to do when we're thinking about preparing for the inevitable?
Okay. So you should definitely have a plan in place when for that. And it's also good to have a will as well too. You should tell your family members, your closest loved ones where your policy is at, and also your wishes for when that time comes.
Thanks, Daphne. Can you give us any tips as we go to, before your other guest comes on?
Okay, tips. Okay. So I first want to speak about, the COVID situation and how insurance companies are handling that situation at this time. So it really just depends on what insurance you get a policy with. Some of the insurance companies, if you think you may have COVID or if you took a test recently, they are just denying the cases. Some of them, they'll take in consideration, what stage you are in COVID as far as, how are your symptoms? How are you, getting better from that? Just every case is just different. Some things I want you to think about when you're thinking about preparing for the future is it is very good to get life insurance when you're young. When you're very young. The older we get, the more our health deteriorates. I am having my first grandson. He's supposed to be here in November. I'm so excited about that. But thank you. I will be writing a policy on him when he's born. Probably not the first day, but definitely the second day. It's good to get it when they're younger because you're able to, the prices are cheaper and you're able to get so much more. And you don't have time for them to develop any type of health issues. You never know what life is going to throw at you. So it's good to get it when you're healthy and young, even though a lot of people, when they're young, they're not really thinking about health insurance. So, but it's good to get it when you're young. Another thing is if you have life insurance with your job, when you retire from your job or when you decide to leave your job and maybe go to another job, some companies, you lose your insurance. It ends. Luckily, in my situation, though, with my company, if I leave or if I retire, I have 30 days to turn my insurance into, it's a term insurance, but I have 30 days to turn into a whole life insurance. But after those 30 days, that's it. If I don't do it, I have lost my insurance. So it's very good to know what your job, what the insurance you have with your job, what your options are before that time comes, just to prepare in advance. Let's see here. Okay, so I want to talk about GoFundMes. So with the GoFundMes, you really just want to make sure you protect yourself. With the GoFundMes, what a lot of people don't know is those GoFundMes, all of the money does not go to the family. GoFundMe takes 2.9%, and they also take 30% of each donation that is taken. So not all of that goes to the family. So, and also, even if you do have a GoFundMe, there's no guarantee that you'll collect all the money needed for the funeral. So, yeah, see here. That's about it.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear from our artist. I'm not going to ask her to sing again, but I know she's here to share with us, but maybe she'll give us a few bars. But thank you, Simran. Welcome. And please tell Mr. Adrian we love and miss him as well.
I will. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Advocates for... No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to speak on this topic. I was sharing with Daphne when my father passed away. He passed in December of 2016. None of us saw it coming. He had some health challenges prior to that. But he was pretty much kind of like at his prime, if I can say it like that. My father was always a very active person. He had just purchased a home all unto himself. He was excited about living he called it his bachelor's lifestyle. And within a month and a half, he had a stroke. And it wasn't, he walked himself into the hospital, and due to being given the wrong medication, he passed away. And so, of course, it was a shock to us. You know, we were just kind of dumbfounded at that point. And the next part of it was he did not have life insurance. It was always something that he talked about. It was always something that he planned on getting. And especially once he purchased the house, that was his next plan of action, making sure he had a will, making sure he had his wishes in place. He had already begun, fortunately, talking to my sisters and I about his final wishes, what he would want to have happen. And I have to say this too, talking about uncomfortable conversations. No one wants to discuss mortality with their closest loved ones. It is very difficult. Even myself and, you know, my husband having children, having to have those conversations with them, because none of us are promised tomorrow. There could be, you know, a car accident. We hear about accidents happening all the time. And now with the pandemic, nothing is absolutely for sure or certain. So it's important to have those conversations so that your family isn't left, number one, fighting. I always say you find out the best and worst of people when babies are born, during weddings and funerals. And you don't want your family fighting. Well, I think, you know, they would have wanted this. No, I think they would have. No. That is a time where family is grieving. There's a lot of sometimes sorrow happening. There's just so much going on emotionally. You want to take all of the guesswork out as much as possible. And so for my father, fortunately, he had begun stating his wishes. So we knew that part of it. He had also began putting his will into place so that the property was able to pass on and remain in the family instead of going through probate, you know, the state will come in and make decisions for you if you don't have those in place. But the one thing that he had not done yet was get life insurance. And my sisters and I were of the ones, as Daphne was talking about, that got GoFundMes. Or we did a GoFundMe. We were able to raise a lot of money, which was able to take care of some of his final expenses, but the rest of it, we had to ante up. And at the time, it was winter. There was, you know, it was a lot going on for many of us, and it was a struggle. It really was to put it together. But fortunately, we were able to. But I think, as the other guests had mentioned, you know, my father, he was really big on leaving a legacy. He wanted us to have some type of generational wealth, and it made him proud at the thought that, wow, you know, I purchased this property. Maybe you guys can turn it into a real estate business. He was very big on trying to leave something behind instead of leaving a burden. And it's a trip that he would have been, I'm sure, upset to know that we spent the money to make sure he was cremated properly, make sure that we had a proper memorial service for him, versus having a life insurance policy that would have taken care of that, so that we then could have gone forward and started establishing that generational wealth, that legacy that he wanted us to have. And so my husband and I have had life insurance policies for a very long time. I had one before I got married. My mother instilled that in me a long time ago. She, like Daphne, set me up, like Daphne's going to do for her grandson. She set me up as a child to have a policy. And then once I became an adult, she said, now you need to go and get your own. You need to go on ahead. And I did that. Once I got married, my husband also, we both sat down together and did the planning. Who are the beneficiaries? Who is this? Where is this going to go? Does it go into a trust for our daughters? If we were to pass on, where would our daughters go? All of these things, our final wishes, we have been very vocal about. And I think if anything, my father's passing set us up for a brighter future. So in that respect, he actually did leave a legacy and some generational wealth, because we won't continue to not have those conversations into the future. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I just want to say lastly that just like Christmas is certain to come once a year, you know, some of us, we scramble come December, early December, we're scrambling to get money to make sure our loved ones have a good Christmas. Death is certain too. And I just want to leave you with this one question. Who would you need to take care of financially if the unthinkable happened to you today? And are you prepared? And lastly, I want to dedicate this show to my grandmother, Miss Ella Mae Wallace, that passed in March 10th of this year. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all for sharing your story. I hope people were inspired today. Generational knowledge is as great as generational wealth, because again, if you know better, we're gonna do better. And so sit down with your family, sit down, you know, with your husband, with your kids even, and start to have these conversations. Here's what we need to do. Here's what we need to happen. You 20-somethings, double up them policies, invest in yourselves, and get that Mercedes. Instead of getting that Mercedes you drive, get that Mercedes insurance. Sounds like that's the ticket. Daphne, thank you so much. Advocates for Action, thank you so much. Again, I'm Kimberly Holmes Ross with Evanston Cradle to Career, where we serve Evanston, of course, but we work with over 40 partners for a more equitable Evanston. Have a safe and wonderful Saturday. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Copeland, and I'm 40 years old. I'm a working mom of 2 girls. I'm married, and I live here in Evanston, Illinois. I decided to become a member of Advocates for Action because I found that it was a really innovative way to get involved in the community, basically recognizing that as a citizen, you don't necessarily have to have a title or a leadership position to empower yourself and be an active voice and make change.
My name is Glenn Mackey, and happily married, and I'm a father of a daughter. Advocates for Action, I think, basically, to make it really simple, they're a group of concerned residents, citizens of Evanston, that have got together, organized ourselves, educated ourselves, and started a process of continuous learning and understanding and incorporating different ideas into our environment so we can start liberating people and educating people.
The approach that I wanted to have as it pertains to the model of training for Advocates for Action, we call it the 4 Ds. It is determine, develop, deploy, and deepen.
So the training with Pastor Dillard for me, I will say, was very interesting. I absolutely loved it. I look forward to my Saturdays, and I will go away, you know, reevaluating some things.
What makes Advocate for Action different than any other group is that we have over 40 organizations that we partner with, more resources.
The issues that I'm excited to see the Advocates for Action help the city with is, frankly, issues that we're struggling with right now. And I think that, you know, hearing the voices from a lot of people around this community will make sure that some of the social service programs and the really important youth programs that we have in the community are protected.
My vision is for this group to become a cohort.
My hope for the future of Advocates for Action is more members of our community will find their voice.
I'm an advocate.
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 I'm an advocate for action.
listening to Evanston Cradle to Career Advocate for Action on Radio La Difference. Please tune in next Saturday for another show.